Hello, everyone. Welcome back. GE115. This is Tuesday, and you have an exam on Thursday. So I'm not adding any new work. I just want you to hone your skills for Thursday because it always feels like there's not enough time. So the the better you have your skills down, the better it'll go on Thursday. So I just want to cover a couple things. I just went through grading everything, and I see some common mistakes. So yeah, I want to just catch you up on some of this stuff. So go through some stuff slowly. Hopefully this will be helpful. Templates, you all have templates now, so you should be using your templates. That should bring your title block up automatically. So you should not have to be redrawing your title block. There's no reason not to turn something in with the title block. It's the way to go. So let's go over that. If I'm gonna open or create a new drawing, if it's the first part of the session, it's just going to open the ACAD template, right? So then you just got to go and say, okay, I want a new drawing and I want to choose my template, right? So then you have to travel to where it is. Mine's in OneDrive. So I'm actually going to go into my GE115 class. Wow, where is it? There it is. And I have a template right here. Okay. I actually stole this from one of you folks. So there you go. But that brings in the template. There should be B size and A size. And this person did a fantastic job. Has their layouts labeled here nice and easily. I have some layers that came in, fantastic. Dimensioning is set up, but not to annotative. So I got to make sure to change that. But yeah, it's ready to go, right? So in here, I'm just going to make a quick drawing that's going to be pretty small, and it's just going to be a rod, just a solid rod, right? Over here, I'll make it. I'm going to get my object snap going for quadrant because it's not going and it's bugging me. Use my green lines, find this endpoint, pull it down, and I should have it. All right, that's a pretty quick drawing, but that's fine. Notice my two views are in projection. Some of you are still struggling with keeping your views in projection. This side view is in projection of the front view, okay? So it's super important to have that done. Whatever this is, it's a little metal rod, right? But keep your views in projection. That's important. All right, now I want to dimension it, but I don't know the scale that I'm going to print it at. So I'm going to use A size here. I'm going to bring it in close so I can see it, and then I'm going to set the scale. So what would 1:1 look like? It's not bad. It's a little small, so I'm going to change it to 2:1. Make it double size. Perfect. Okay, so those scales down at the bottom are going to enlarge something. These scales are reductions. This is more common. That's why we have a few extra ones than we do of the enlarge version, right? So that's how you figure out your scale. You need to do that as soon as you get your drawing done before you dimension it, right? Then I can go back to model and I can match that scale to the annotative factor, 2:1. Okay, now I need to go into dimension style, make sure I'm using annotative. That's the one that understands scaling. And then go into modify and make sure I get the text the right height, text height. So maybe 0.125, an 1/8 inch, right? And the accuracy to where I want it. I'm going to put it at 2 decimal places. Okay, this is looking good now. I want to make it current. I want to use it. All right. So then when I go to dimension and I place a dimension, it's automatically sizing that for me. and it shows up here in layout. If it ever doesn't show up here in layout, then your scales don't match. It's placing them, but it just doesn't show up. The scales have to match, okay? So that's a quick go through on dimensioning and scaling. Now, some of you are just using a basic, like if I just add a layout, whoa, oh, I don't know what's happening. I locked it up. Some of you are using like the basic layout and not even expanding the viewport. This is called a viewport. You don't want to leave this way away from the edge of the paper. This is not good, right? This is what we're looking for. So have your templates ready to use on a flash drive so you don't have to make these title blocks. I may have you customize the title block a little bit, but it's a lot faster to start with the basic title block, okay? All right, so that was scaling, some dimension settings, layers. We've talked about these layers. Wish this would go away. I'll dock it somewhere else. Maybe it'll hide. There we go. Here they are, and the layer dialog box is this layer properties, and that's where you add them and remove them. Okay. We do want line weights, so get your line weights working and make sure they show up. So remember, I just drew this without even thinking about layers. So if I want to think about layers, I just grip whatever I want and send it to the visible line layer. Notice that in my template, I already had line weight turned on, so I get to see it, right? So in here, it would look like that, which is pretty good. If you want to make sure that it's working, then do a plot or print. They call it plotting, but and you can do a preview of this. So I'm going to continue to single plot. I'm going to leave the printer set up as something. Just I think you have to choose it in order to get this. So I'll choose one, but there's a preview button here, right? And it's going to plot the layout so I can preview it and I can see what it's going to look like. I can see that my title block shows up. That's good. It's not thick, so I might want to add thickness to that. But my thick lines are showing up. My thin lines are looking good. If I had hidden lines, I'd want to make sure those show up. So then you just hit escape and exit out, and you don't actually print. But you can get a preview of that print. And I'm going to print your exams. That's how I'm going to grade them. So I'll be able to see that your text height is the appropriate text height. If you're going to place views, I would do that. Names of views, I would do that in Paperspace. So I just switch to Paperspace. Can't really see it, but the way I switch is I two-click out here. Click, click. If I two-click in here, that's model space. Two-click out here, Paperspace. All right. So then I would go single line text. I'm going to put it right here. It wants to know the height, so I'll say 0.2, a little bigger. That's common. And this is the front view. Then I can just click over here, and this is the right side view. Okay. So there they are. That's in Paperspace. And, you know, if I want to get it in the right spot, you can move these around, just make it look pro, you know. I'm not done dimensioning. I would go back here to do more dimensioning. Notice that the names of the views are not here. It's in Paperspace, right? So try to get the Paperspace model space figured out. Spend a little extra time with it so it's fairly comfortable and you don't have to be fighting that. That is definitely enough to do this project. I'll add a hidden line. Let's, you know, maybe there's a circle, a hole in this shaft. Yeah, it's not letting me do it. So I'm just going to put a construction line in real quick and then a circle at the midpoint. and I'll make it 0.15. All right, so I'm adding a hole in the shaft. Whoops, that was a mistake. In the shaft, that's going to show up as what over here? If I see the hole here, it's a hidden line over here. So again, I'm just going to extend that. I would just send it through, right? Because we have this great thing called trim. And I can just trim these off. And it makes it really nice. Get rid of these. You always want to get rid of your construction lines so you don't leave them by accident. I've done that. All right, and then I want these to be hidden. And I have a hidden line layer. Oh man, it looks so good, right? So let's just see if it looks good. Because where it matters is here. It does look really good. All right, so we got some hidden line work done. They're thin. That's good. And they show up. They're not too micro. I saw a lot of very tiny ones in your exercises. I saw some really big ones too. So try and find a spot where, you know, dashes are showing up nicely. You remember how to change that? You just grip them, go into the properties, and look for line type scale. It's that one. So if I wanted them a little bigger, I could put in a 2. So that was the only thing I saw is it could be a little bigger. 3 dashes, that's pretty big. I'd probably go down to like a 1.5, but up to you. Get them looking just right. All right. Hopefully that helps a little bit with templates and title blocks and placing some paper space text. Working with the text in your title block. A lot of folks, you know, we're doing really good, making things really perfect. But then you left in like a construction line like that. I mean, maybe that's how you centered that text, but you don't leave this in here. Let's get this out of here, right? We just want a nice clean title block. All right, good enough. Well, let's go for it on Thursday. Again, if you want to come a little early, that's fine. I'm in early. Probably, I think we start at 10:30. I'm usually in at 8, but don't come that early. But you could come at 9:30, get an extra hour if you wanted to. Up to you. All right, we'll see you all Thursday.